thanks for coming to our talk today about diapers. I know it's the first thing you want to talk about at 8 o'clock in the morning. So what we're going to cover today are the misconceptions and the reality of cloth diapers, where cloth diapering stands today and why, the guidelines for cloth diapers, which is a huge thing for centers. A lot of them are just not educated on what the guidelines and certifications actually are. Providing cloth diapers as a center, so this is the biggest part of our presentation, and how actually not only accepting cloth diapers, but providing them to the families, what that could do, the positive impact that that would have. And then give you an example of a day at the center with cloth diapers, and then just talk about the grant opportunities that are available if you chose to go that route. So just a little bit about me. This is me and my cute family. And then this one here is number 3. I'm 27 weeks too. So I am currently the chair of the Real Diaper Industry Association. We're here to promote cloth diapering to daycare centers. I have owned and operated a diaper service for 8.5 years, and my oldest is 6. So 2.5 years before I even had children, I was washing poopy diapers. 100%, we've cloth diapered our 2 kids 100% while starting 2 companies and running them. So no one can give me the excuse that I'm too busy. We currently provide cloth diapers to 2 centers in our community for over 2.5 years. And for our residential customers, we have worked with a commercial launderer in the past, so we know how to work with commercial launderers if you don't have a diaper service in your area. We also own and operate a retail store, so we focus on natural living, so we see the parenting side of the cloth diaper world as well. And we have literally diverted thousands of diapers from entering the landfills with our businesses. So we're going to try and get through this pretty fast so that if you guys have questions, we can spend more time on answering those. And if we don't get through everything that you guys want to talk about, we do have a booth at the exhibit hall. It's 975, so you can come talk to us afterwards too. So a little bit about what the Real Diaper Industry Association is. We're a 501c6 nonprofit trade association focused on advancing, networking, and promoting the cloth diaper industry. So our members are the manufacturers, the retailers, and the diaper services who all focus on real diapers. And we call them real diapers because I think disposables are great diaper. So that's just a little bit about our industry and why we're here and who we are. So we're going to go into the prejudice against cloth. And I know you guys already know that this isn't true, but what do you think cloth diapers look like? Working in the industry for so long, I've heard it all. So most people assume that these are cloth diapers, which technically they are, but these are cloth diapers that existed. This was the way that you did it when I was a baby. Even 10, 15 years ago, people were still doing it this way. So. And then this is what, if you've never used cloth and you've only used disposables, it's easy to assume that cloth are difficult to use and to change, that they have to be changed more frequently, that they leak easily and then you have more blowouts, that they have to be cleaned off or soaked and it's really gross, that they stink, and that they could possibly slow like crawling or walking, or cause hip dysplasia. These are just a few of the reasons people tell me why they're scared of cloth diapering. And so these are what cloth diapers really are. These are just a few of our brands that we love. So some Thirsties, some Lulu, Rumperoos, Oh So Cozy, Fuzzy Ones. These are all just different brands, different styles, and how cute are they? Disposables don't look like that. This thing doesn't want to, there we go. So here is, if you've ever used cloth diapers, and she can attest to this, you know that they're just as easy to use as a disposable. They do not need changed more often, sometimes less often, you know, technically like overnight. We can have a customer who uses disposables come in and we'll switch them to cloth even just for overnight so that they can get through the night with dry sheets, whereas a disposable can't even do that. They never leak or blow out when they're properly fit to the baby and have the right absorbency based on their weight. They don't have to be cleaned or touched in any different way than disposables when they're taken off. They don't smell when they're being properly laundered, and you don't have that chemical smell. So, you know, chemicals or disposables kind of just smell on their own, even when they're clean. Diaper services are available for laundering, or the RDA, which is our sister organization. They focus on cloth diaper education to consumers. So the RDA is available to provide parents with proper techniques for washing. And then research actually shows that keeping a child's leg in the frog-leg position is better for their development. So this little picture at the bottom, sorry I got kind of cut off up there, it shows that actually squeezing a baby's legs together, so a disposable, since it's more like underwear, can easily let a kid's hips go together. Swaddling them too tight, wearing them in the incorrect carrier that would put their legs together, that can actually move their hip out of socket. So, and then the other picture shows how keeping their legs spread is actually better for their development. So that's from the International Hip Dysplasia Institute. All right, and then, so why are, we know how practical they really are, so why are parents choosing to use them today over disposables? Why else? Like, aside from being just as easy, like what are the other reasons? The benefits of modern cloth diapering. There are some serious, scary health implications of using disposables. We're going to give you guys a little handout when you leave that has statistics on the back of it. The RDA has a full list of these. That's where I pulled these from. It's called the Real Diaper Facts, and sources every single one of them. All the research studies that have been done by third parties going over the scary implications of what is actually in those diapers. I put booth 975 for the handout, but we'll give it to you guys today. There is a huge cost savings for using cloth over disposables for the parents. So a parent that uses cloth is going to save thousands of dollars per child. Obviously, they're more environmentally responsible. They do potty train earlier. I was telling them my kids were potty trained at 18 months and 20 months old, a boy and a girl. So our pediatrician about blew his lid when I told him that at my son's 2-year checkup that he'd been potty trained for 4 months. It kind of, when he was like, oh, we should start talking about potty training, it kind of set me back because like I hadn't changed a diaper in 4 months, so it was really weird. You do have diaper rash reduction if the, and the reason for that, a lot of parents using disposables because they're so expensive will tend to leave their baby in them longer, which just sitting in that plastic and the chemicals is going to cause rash problems. Obviously children can still get diaper rashes from teething or eating the wrong foods and things like that. So it's not 100% reduction. For us it was, personally, but you know, and some babies are just allergic to disposables as well.
I have a question.
Yeah?
When you said they were out of diapers at 18 and 20 months,
Yeah.
was that at night too?
For our daughter it was. For our son, he was by 2. Then he lapsed a bit at like 2.5 until he was 3. So from 2.5 to 3, he wore something overnight, and then by 3, he was overnight as well. But for our daughter, she was overnight at 18 months. Yeah. So these are the reasons that actually got me into the industry, especially the research studies that we have to show you guys if you're interested in them. And like I said, I got into this before I even had children, so I knew that parents needed to have this as an alternative option, so I started a diaper service for those parents who couldn't do the laundry or lived in a place that didn't have laundry, like an apartment building, but still wanted to choose a different diaper. And then some of the styles, and we're going to get into these a little bit later, are pre-folds and covers, pocket diapers, and all-in-ones. So just to show you what they are really fast, this is a pre-folding cover. So it looks more like your old school diaper, but now you don't have to pin it, you can just fold it in thirds and put it in the cover. And the covers are now made out of a laminated nylon called PUL instead of like a vinyl or a plastic like they used to be. You can dry these, you don't have to worry about them cracking or a pocket diaper is going to be one that has a hole and the stuffing gets put in it. So it has a pocket that you stuff and then it's ready to be put on. And then an all-in-one is very similar to a pocket, it's just that everything's sewn in. So with a pocket or an all-in-one, you put the whole thing on and then you take the whole thing off to wash it. With a pre-folding cover, you can actually reuse the cover until it gets poop on the inside of it. So my personal favorite are pre-folding covers, and every parent has their favorite. So our first question is just, as a daycare center, how many of you own centers or work in centers? So we're just asking that if you don't currently accept cloth diapering or cloth diapers, to give parents a chance because you can see why they would choose them. So, and it is a very emotional and passionate decision. It's kind of like breastfeeding. That's a strong decision that you make as a parent. And personally, to me, cloth diapering is the same way. I would never put a disposable diaper on my baby. And then, even if you don't currently accept them, give them a chance for a week. And tips for success to make sure that you and your staff, aren't having a hard time with it. If there is a style you prefer, say you like the idea of this all-in-one, and you say, yes, we'll take them, but please bring us all-in-ones. If you want to be very specific about a style, that's fine. Most parents, even if they use pre-folds and covers, they're willing to go out and buy enough all-in-ones for the daycare so that they can use them there. Ask the parents to bring a large enough wet bag to store their dirties all day. And we'll kind of get into that with the certifications. But a wet bag is just, it's made out of that same waterproof fabric. And you put mom's dirty diapers in here during the day, and then use this clothes and send it home with her at the end of the night so that she can wash them. So it's kind of like putting them in a plastic bag, but this is waterproof, and it's not going to breed bacteria like plastic does, so it's not going to make the diapers stink like plastic does. Have the parent show the staff or staff members that will be changing the baby how to properly put it on their child. So especially like a pre-folding cover, you want to make sure that they're doing it right. Even if the staff is like, oh, I don't want to show them, let them show them at least once so that they know how tight they want it on their baby. One thing we've noticed with people who've never used cloth before is for some reason they don't want to put them on as snug as disposable. So, and I'm not sure why. So just making sure the staff's getting it on tight enough and that it's properly fitting. And then if your staff is having issues with diapers, whatever it might be, say they're leaking or I don't know what other issues they'd have, let the parents know immediately. So don't just be like, oh, we don't like these, and don't tell them why. Talk to them about it. And then we do have these little decals here that say cloth diaper friendly. These are free for you guys to take for your centers if you want to put it on your window to let parents know that you are a cloth friendly center. So maybe a family is coming to check out your center and they've been to a few others and they don't accept cloth but yours does, and they see that, they're going to choose yours over another one because it is a very emotional decision. Just like, choosing where to, just like choosing where to take your child is a very emotional decision. So guidelines for cloth diapers, being in this industry so long, I've heard for years all the reasons daycares give as far as why they don't accept them. It used to be NAEYC's policy. Some states people assume it's their policy, and reality it isn't. So the more educated you guys can become to know parents' rights. You know, if it's a center's policy, it's a center's policy, but other than that, like, there's really no things stopping a center from accepting cloth. So as of April 1st of last year, NAEYC changed their guideline, and you know, I'm not going to read it to you guys, but this is their new guideline. As long as you follow this, it's allowed. The link at the bottom is the direct link to this revision.
So they've got to be in a step can for a NAEYC accredited center.
That's what it says, yeah. And so a lot of them will get those little bathroom ones,
Yeah.
and put a little wet bag in it, and then just put it in there all day, and then zip the wet bag closed at the end of the day and send it home. And I've had centers or I've had families who've had their center bring that. Like, yes, we'll do it, but you have to bring the step can, you know?
Yeah, we did that at Brian Rogers. But then also, we had a parent that used a wool cover.
Wool. Mm-hmm.
So she wanted it reused, you know.
Oh, right.
During the day.
Right. And that goes back to, you know, as a center, you can say, you know, we can't do that, but if you'll do this style instead, we'll do it. You know?
We just didn't know we weren't supposed to bag it when we weren't using it, so
Oh, sure.
it was not a good place to put a wool cover.
Yeah. So I just printed a couple of states. I figured we'd pick Florida because that's where we're at. California, it's a huge state. So these are just kind of some other states, like rules and regulations. And honestly, a lot of states just don't even say anything about cloth. Like, they don't say you can or can't. They just have a diapering rule, and it has nothing to do with what style of diaper it is. So this website down here will give you every single state's regulation on cloth. And from the last time that we looked, there were only like 3 states in the country that said something about not using them. So it's pretty minimal. And honestly, a parent, if their child is allergic to disposable diapers, they have to use cloth diapers. So a center has to, I mean, they can get a prescription from their doctor and bring cloth diapers in. So even states that don't allow it, if as a center you want to let your parents bring them in and your state says something against it, the parents have the right to get a prescription for them too. So just so you know. So this is where we're going to get into providing cloth diapers. So that sounds totally crazy, I'm sure, when you don't really even know a lot about cloth in general, to just decide that your whole center is going to be cloth diapers. We do have a case study at our booth as well, if you want to come read it, about a daycare in Chicago who they like make all organic baby food, and they provide cloth diapers, and they're like a LEED certified building, and they have a 2-year waiting list. So it's not something that scares parents away. So why would you consider cloth in your center? Why would you switch and provide cloth diapers instead of asking the parents to bring in disposables? First of all, it separates you from everybody else, but it is a win-win-win-win-win-win situation. So first, for the center, it's a new profit category. You guys can actually make money by doing this, which, you know, that's nice to hear as a business owner. You know, as a business owner myself, I know there's not a lot of brand new things that come about that you can make money on, and it still benefits everybody else involved as well. So it's for the babies, obviously it's healthier, they're not exposed to those chemicals, and they have faster potty training, so in your toddler rooms, you might not have to be dealing with diapers as much. Less smell and mess for your staff. There's a huge cost savings and actually a tax deduction for the parents. We'd be supporting another local business or businesses by doing it. And local waste reduction, obviously you're going to be diverting waste from the landfill. So let's go one by one, more in depth about how it would benefit each person involved. So the center, these are, you know, what we figure are the pros and cons of each one. So the cons, the challenges that you might have as a center is you have to figure out which company will launder them for you. So do you have a local diaper service? If not, what professional launderer will do it? We would not recommend as a center for you to wash them yourselves, because that's a whole nother thing, and you want to make sure that they are up to health code standards as far as their cleanliness goes. Getting your staff to be positive about the change, because nobody likes change. Educating existing families on your decision to switch. So if only 10% of the families in your center are in cloth, which is probably a pretty high number if you would have kids in cloth, you know, obviously the rest of them don't know anything about it. So having a meeting, having a class about why you're making this choice and, you know, what it would do for them and their baby. And then there can be upfront costs. If you have a diaper service, chances are there will be minimal upfront costs. If you have to use a professional launderer, you might have a higher upfront cost because they're not going to provide them for you, so you would have to purchase them yourself. So the pros, it is a huge income generating potential just by changing the style of diaper. So you and your staff aren't really doing anything different, and we're going to go through that with your operations, but you're making money. So there's multiple marketing opportunities involved. So parents who want this option, like I said, we're very passionate about cloth. So if our center is providing them, every parent is going to be like, go to that center because you're providing diapers, and that's huge to the natural living community. It's a huge cost savings to families, so you can promote it that way, like we're saving you money by coming here. Exposure through new business partnerships. So if you're working with a diaper service, you know, they're going to promote your center because it benefits them to keep, you know, families coming to you. And then obviously, there's the environmental aspect. Sorry guys, I'm not good with PowerPoint, so I don't even know how to go back. So I'm going to keep going on the center pros and cons.
I have a question on the profit. You'll make more money?
Yes.
Is that because for centers that provide the diapers?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, if you have parents bring their diapers in.
Right. This is for you providing. So,
I mean, when you did disposables, if parents brought their diapers in, then you switched to cloth and you provide.
and you're charging, yes. So this is how. So say a parent goes out and they're buying disposables and they're bringing them to your center. They're spending at the cheapest 15 cents a diaper to go out and buy disposables. That's like your not as good generic brand disposables. Realistically, 20 to 25 cents a disposable is what diapers cost. So you start providing and I can't speak for every service, and that's why I didn't get into numbers, but for our center who uses pre-folds and covers, it's about 10 cents a diaper. So we're charging the center 10 cents a diaper, and then the center charges about 15 cents a diaper. So they're making
the cost on to the parents.
And then they pass the cost on to the parents. So the parents are now, instead of spending 20 to 25 cents a diaper, they're spending only 15 cents a diaper. The daycare is making 5 cents a diaper, and the service just got your business.
And the other thing,
and we'll get into that with the parents too, like the benefits for them. So.
I used to service a long time ago, but at home, but they always brought me back my same diapers for my child.
Yeah, no, this wouldn't be that way. I mean, depends on which service you work with.
So if you do them for the center, when they bring the diapers back, like you said, minimal storage, because you use off the same pile for every child, right?
Yep, you would fill their cubbies with the size that they need. But if you're using a professional launderer, there's no need to keep everyone's diapers separate because they're being washed to health code standards. It's like a hospital.
Oh, right.
Like everything.
This was through a diaper service when you did it, but they always just said you got your diapers back.
Yeah. No, I mean some services do it that way. Some don't. I wouldn't expect that out of a service, but some services might be that way.
The only center I ever knew that did this, where we live, was the center connected to the hospital. Because they had their own laundry,
right?
And they provided them for everybody, and they actually had flushers built into their change tables, so they could.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty
cool.
cool.
When they built the center, that was cool a while ago. But they could dump them in there. And I know this is all no handling of that stuff.
Yeah.
They dumped them in there and threw them in the bags. And of course, theirs all went back just to the general laundry, so they just had one bag.
Right. You could save money through your reduction of waste output. So if your facility pays by, you know, how many times they pick up your waste, people pick up or something like that, you could possibly even save money because you don't have as much garbage. You don't have to constantly remind parents to bring their diapers when they forget them and run out, and then you're having to provide them anyways. It's very simple organization in the bins because there's typically 2 to 3 sizes of cloth versus your 6 sizes of disposables. So with every parent bringing in a different brand and style. So now you just have your 3 sizes and you know which kid needs which size, and so you fill the bins with those. There's less smells throughout the whole center, and all my centers that use them would 100% vouch for that. And then by using a professional launderer, this center has control over the cleanliness. So you know, you don't have to worry about a parent who brings their diapers in and they might not be as clean as you want them to be, because you're actually washing them. I mean, you're having them laundered, so you know that they're clean. So now we're gonna go to the babies. You guys have probably already read it.
Yeah, I was going to go back to like the cost thing too.
Yeah.
So would a center typically, like you're talking about cost per diaper?
Right.
But it seems like that's a little
It's a
unreasonable.
weekly fee.
Right, so
Yeah.
they just tack on a weekly fee.
Yep.
So you don't have to bring any more diapers, but we're going to start charging $15 a week
Yep,
for us providing this service.
exactly. So stop paying to go out and buy your diapers. We'll just, and that's how, we'll get into it with the parents, but that's how it's a tax write-off for them as well. So the babies, the con is you have to fit the baby for the right size. That's it. That's the only con that I can think of. Babies can't be allergic to cloth. If you're having a professional laundered, they can't be allergic to the chemicals because they're professionally laundered. So there's just no other cons to the baby. There's less occurrence of diaper rash, so your staff's not using cream as often. Earlier potty training in the toddler room, no more exposure to chemicals, better for their hip development, as we showed in that image, and they're more comfortable than being wrapped in plastic. How many of you wear plastic underwear? Yeah, I mean.
One con I find that we have with potty training is pants are all made to fit over disposable diapers. It's very hard to get kids that can pull up and down their pants, and it's very hard to get them over. I mean, we use glove diapers, but it's very hard to get them over that.
And that we just say, yeah, that we just say, go up a size.
I know, but
They're
all leggings. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, and leggings, yeah. Leggings are great. Girls are great because they just have dresses, so you don't have to.
That's what we do at potty training, but it's just, those jackets and stuff, I mean, the parents.
How tight they are,
Put them in those, and the kids can't even peel them down. Otherwise, you can hardly put them over cloth diapers.
And then, like for our service, and this would be something you could work with your service, we actually have pull-up style cloth training pants that could be something you could provide, the toddler rooms could use, so that they can get them on and off easily for potty training purposes. So for your staff, the challenges they might experience, there is a short learning curve. They do have to learn how to, depending on which style you buy or get provided, they're going to have to learn how to use them. After about 1 day, they should be an expert because they're changing enough diapers. Remembering to put the baby's take-home diaper on at the very last diaper change. So if parents want to still use disposables at home, they're going to have 1 disposable every day that the staff would put on and send them home in. We're going to get into this with the parents too, but our center, we allow them to take them home as well. So for some, there is no last diaper change that's different because they take the center's cloth home and use them at home as well. And then that's an additional fee for both your center and for the service. And then, on delivery day, staff is going to have to stock the diapers in the bins, which is something they're doing anyways with disposable every time they get brought in, so it's not really anything different. And then changes take 5 extra seconds, because they're snaps instead of sticky. So to have to snap 4 snaps instead of just put a sticky on, it takes about 5 extra seconds, maybe.
I think it helps.
Yes, but with a professionally laundered one, we wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, because you said your cover, that's right, they do the covers too.
Right, they can, yeah, and depending on the style, if your center chose like pre-folds and covers, like our center that does pre-folds and covers, they wash their covers every day at the end of the night and just keep them there. But with that washing every single day, Velcro would wear out a lot faster, and then they'd have to be replaced. So we definitely recommend snaps in the daycare situation, only because of that. Velcro would work, but obviously kids can take them off, kind of like disposables, and then they can wear out faster. So we tend to recommend snaps. So the pros are less time spent dealing with changing outfits, because cloth do not leak and do not blow out. I don't know if you guys were here, we were talking about, she brought disposables for her trip, and she's not used to her daughter's outfits getting wet all the time, and now she's having to change them because she's in disposables and she's leaking a lot. So it is a reality of cloth. They do not leak or blow out. They will actually touch less pee and poop because it stays where it belongs instead of all over their clothes. There's less time spent treating diaper rashes. No more dealing with children removing their diaper, because the snaps, even toddlers can't get these off most of the time. And then no more dealing with inadequate diapers provided by parents, because they need to save the money. So those generic 15-cent disposables, like I'm sure you all have that one family that you just hate the diapers that they bring because they don't work. You don't have to deal with that anymore. So the parents. The biggest con or challenge with parents is if they currently use disposables, they don't know anything about cloths. They're not educated. So it would be your diaper service, or if you're using a professional launderer, like a commercial launderer, your job to provide them with the education. Another option is RDA has what are called circle leaders, and those are women who would come and do a class for you as well. So you don't have to become the expert. You can contact RDIA or RDA and say, hey, I want to do this. Like, I need someone to come and educate. I want to do a class. I want to educate parents on how to, why we would do this. So pros is they don't have to change anything that they're currently doing, because if they're going to stick with disposables at home, it's no different to them. Like, they drop their baby off just like they would, and then you guys are doing the changing during the day, and then they pick them up in a disposable. So for them, it's really not any different. Now with the cost being built in to the child care fee, they get to write the child care fee off in their taxes. So if the child care fee is even a little higher, they're now getting to write their diapers off, whereas before they couldn't. And I have talked to, because this is how we do it, I have talked to professionals, legal professionals, and this is how it works. So the cost charged by the center is cheaper than buying disposables, as we went into. They can save even more by taking the diapers home. So for example, at our pre-folding cover center, our center charges $4 a week for diapers, which is super cheap. That's not much of an upcharge from what we charge them. And then to take it home, they charge $5 a week. So these families are paying $9 a week to have 100% diapers and not have to wash them. Like, just to give you an idea, like, our residential diaper service customers pay $20 to $25 a week for the same exact thing. And disposable diaper parents are paying $20 a week. So it's a huge savings.
So if you have the option, or the centers that have the option where the parents, the baby goes home with the cloth diaper,
Yes.
that's part of the program's diapering service, you expect the parents to bring them back on a
Twice a
weekly
week.
basis, or twice a week?
Twice a week.
Okay.
Well,
And does that become an issue with programs? Is that about?
it hasn't for us.
Uh-huh.
We give them designated days. So like, we do deliveries on Tuesdays and Fridays. So we say, make sure parents bring them in Tuesday morning, Friday morning. So that when we come to pick up dirties on Tuesday morning, Friday morning, the parents' dirties are there. So that we can take them back with us and launder them. We also offer the option, if they own their own cloth diapers and they want to use their own at home, well, it's the same charge. And so then they can actually bring their dirties from home on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we launder them for them too. So, I mean, that's a whole nother option as well. Which we do have one family at each center that wants to use their own pockets and stuff at home, because they just like a different style than what the center uses, so they stick with their personal diapers. But now they're being laundered for them whereas before they had to do all the washing. So for $5 a week, they no longer have to wash their diapers. It's huge for them. So, so no more for the parents. No more going to the store to buy diapers. Only if they're still using them at home, but they're going to be buying a lot less. And no more having to remember to bring diapers to the center, just their dirties twice a week if they're taking them home. If they're not taking them home, they're not doing anything different. And no more need to buy multiple kinds of diaper rash cream to try and figure out which one's going to get rid of this nasty diaper rash that their baby has. So there's a lot that parents can benefit from by you guys switching. Yeah?
Now, if the parents like the pros and decide that they don't want to use disposables at home anymore, what is I'm thinking of families on very limited income. And what is the upfront cost for if a family wanted to either have their own diapers and wash their own diapers at home while the baby wasn't at the care program, or use a diaper service? I mean, I'm just thinking, how doable is that for families who really are convinced and want to make the switch?
Sure. So at home, if they're not using the center's diapers, because that's going to be built into your fee, so that is what that is. So $5 a week or whatever your center decides to charge is what they would pay. Now, if they want to launder their own at home and not have them washed for them because they want to save even more money, they can start with pre-folds and covers. Pre-folds and covers are going to be about your cheapest diaper to purchase. They only need about 20 diapers for at home for the whole week. So if they're going to do a load twice a week, that's only 10 diapers they need to buy. And pre-folds range from $2 to $8 and $10 maybe at like organic, but if they're really doing it to save money, they want, the cheapest pre-folds that work. Because there's ones you can buy at big box stores that are not diapers. They're labeled as diapers. I don't want to say any brands, but they're not diapers. They're birth cloths. So they would want to buy diaper service quality pre-folds. And 10 of them, at $4 a piece, they're spending $40, and then they maybe need 3 covers at $10 to $15 a piece. So for 70, less than $100 easily, they can get a whole setup for home and wash them themselves.
So that's a concept that a family support program, if they wanted to help families make the transition, running the numbers on that would be helpful.
And I can't do numbers only because it depends on where you buy them.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm just conceptually,
yes.
it makes it an option for babies 24/7.
Absolutely.
You can find a thing online. If you Google, there's like a thing that tells how much you spend doing disposable diapers compared to.
Yeah,
that makes a big impact. It says like, it costs you however, I can't remember the number of how.
It's like $2,500 to $3,000.
$3,000
to buy disposables. Yeah. So versus 70, that's huge.
And how much a month would your disposables are?
It's more in the beginning because they go through more. So the average over the course of their diapering life is $2,500 to $3,000 because kids take longer to potty train as well. So you're buying long diapers for longer, so the cost is more as well.
But because the packages, but see the little packages, the little sizes have more of the package.
Right. It's about, from what we're gathering from parents, it's about $100 a month.
So you can spend less than a month's worth of disposable diapers to investment of your cloth diapers.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the cost savings is huge. Yeah. So the pros and cons for supporting another local business. So cons for a diaper service is if you use a diaper service, they're going to have to go out and buy all the diapers that your center needs. Whereas if you have, 50 babies in diapers, it can cost that service anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 to get what you need. So, but they're a business, they're willing to do that. A commercial launderer is going to have to set up a new wash formula. for diapers. That's where the RDIA would come in again. If you don't have a diaper service, because we are diaper service owners, we can work with your commercial launderer and give them our formulas, help them. Usually their reps are going to know how to set up a diaper formula because they've been around since the 1950s, the diaper formulas have. So, but if they're having challenges, then they can reach out to the RDIA and say, hey, this isn't quite working, like what do we need to do? Or if they just have no idea and the rep has no idea, we can guide them with that.
So with the diaper service provides the diapers.
Mm-hmm.
If you went with a commercial launderer, then
You would have to provide them, yes. Most commercial launderers are you provide the linens and they wash them, so your diapers are your linens.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's also where the RDIA comes in, because as a daycare, if you have to buy them, you're going to set up with a wholesale account with any of our manufacturers in order to get the wholesale price of the diapers, because you're buying so many, so, yeah.
You have to buy your covers though.
Yeah, again, you would buy, yeah, if you're going to be using a commercial launderer, you're going to have to buy everything you need.
But if you're using diaper service, we buy our own covers?
Depends on the service. Depends on your relationship and what you guys decide. Yeah. I would say yes, plan on it.
Yeah.
But definitely the diapers they would probably provide.
They would,
so.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. How our pre-folding cover center did it is, yeah, they bought their own covers. I gave them to them at a very barely over wholesale, and then they wash them every day in their center's machine. So
What's the other scenarios?
all in once. So the pros is the local businesses, obviously they're gaining your business. They get a whole new chunk of business, which you guys know as well as anybody that when a local business gets business, the money stays in the local economy. It doesn't go out. All of the parents' money that's currently being spent on disposables no longer goes to supporting large corporations. It stays local and supports both your center's business and what other laundering business you're using. And then a local cloth diaper retailer could also benefit from this because if the parents, like you said, do choose to switch over to cloth but want to wash their own at home, they're going to go to your local retailer and buy them. So again, that can support your local economy. Right now, parents are going to big box stores, buying their diapers, and who makes disposable diapers? Big box companies, so large corporations. So right now, not a single dollar of the diapers is being spent in your local economy. So with this, all of the money for the diapers would be in your local economy, which is huge, both for you and for the other local businesses. All right, and then your local landfill. There's not a single con to keeping diapers out of your local landfill. There is so much less waste output. In 1 year, a center with 40 kids in diapers will save approximately 4.88 tons of waste from entering your landfill. That's one center with their babies, that's it. So you can see the impact that would have. So if 50 centers in just one town switched, the landfill in that city would save at least 243.75 less tons of waste from entering their local landfill each year. These numbers are based on a dirty disposable weighing 3 ounces, which isn't that much. So you can see how much of an impact it would actually have on the waste reduction. Our centers can't believe how much less trash they take outside. Because if you think about each changing station, you're taking out a trash bag at least once a day. So now all of those trash bags are no longer being taken out. So not only are you not putting diapers in the landfill, you're not putting the plastic bags, the trash bags in the landfill, and potentially not even putting the disposable wipes because you could switch to cloth wipes for basically nothing. We charge our center, because she provided the wipes, we charge them $5 a week to wash unlimited wipes. So you cannot buy disposable wipes for $5 a week for your center.
Most of your figures are based off a center, like that center of 40.
That one, yeah, that number was 40 kids in diapers.
40 kids in diapers. Do you have any, or do you supply or work with anybody who's much smaller than that? I mean, obviously, you're not going to save as much money if you're dealing with smaller children. We deal with nothing but toddlers.
Sure.
But we're small, we have like 12 or 15 children.
So what you would want to
They're always
do,
in diapers or potty training, one or the other.
is you would work with your local diaper service, and your fees would probably be different. They would be what, like we've found for us, for our pricing, 15 kids is kind of the cutoff. So 15 kids or more, it's worth doing it this way. 15 kids or less, it would be more like you're a residential customer with 15 kids in one space. So the pricing would probably just be a little bit different. And it also depends on if you're providing them, it's going to be the same. So if you do buy them up front, like say you have 15 kids and you buy the diapers up front and you're hiring a commercial launderer, they have huge machines. So they need to be able to fill a load with your diapers. So if they can't do that, then they're not going to service you. So that's kind of the other challenge. Whereas a smaller diaper service, like they might have a smaller machine that they can still service you. So it's really going to...
Individuals, I mean,
Right.
diaper services.
Yeah, like, and every diaper service is different in every city. So like we have commercial machines that range from a 3-load washer to a 6-load washer. So we can put 3 loads worth, 3 babies worth of diapers in one machine and launder them. Now some do have individual loads, so they could, keep them all separate and wash, every single individual load. So again, that's going to vary based on
But for 12 or
locale.
15 kids, you definitely fill a machine.
Yeah, I mean, for us it would. We would just do a different cost strategy.
And it would be more.
It would be more.
Okay.
Well, it would just be different. It would still be cheaper for you guys, but just the fees would be different because, like right now, what we do is we round up to the nearest 50 used, and with you guys, it would probably be like you would order exactly how many you wanted. So it would just be different. Come to our booth and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you say more about the clock weights? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of go through like a day in the life. But yeah, absolutely with the cloth wipes, I don't think I necessarily put that in. So a cloth wipe is just, same size as a disposable wipe. The benefit of cloth is that, so disposable wipes have, a lot of them have citric acid in them as their preservative. And babies aren't supposed to be exposed to citrus until they're over a year old, food-wise. So my son actually has a citrus sensitivity, and we were using disposable wipes on him with his cloth diapers, and he started breaking out. And we didn't learn till later that it was the wipes that were causing it. Because then now if he eats like mandarin oranges, he gets like blotchy under his eyes and stuff like that. So a lot of babies can actually be more allergic to disposable wipes than they are to the disposable diapers, because it's actually, the chemical is actually touching their skin. So I'm almost more passionate about cloth wipes than I am the diapers because of the direct contact with their skin. When people come into the store and are having terrible rash issues, the first thing we do is get them to switch to cloth wipes, because that's usually a big culprit to their rash issue. So with the cloth wipes, what you need is either every changing station just needs a cleaning spray. There's various, there's millions you can buy, there's millions you can make. Just a spray bottle, so you spray the baby down, and then you wipe them down with your cloth wipe and throw it in the pail with the liner with all your diapers. So, another huge benefit to cloth wipes is that you only need, even for the nastiest diaper, you only need 2. I don't think I've ever used more than 2 wipes on my kids, ever. Most kids, even pretty bad diapers, you're only going to need like 1. Because they're so thick, it doesn't go through them. So you can just keep folding it and using different sides, and it's really thick. So they're amazing. And if you guys afterwards too, when I come up and see all this stuff, you're more than welcome to.
So is it common then for diaper services to also service the diaper wipes?
The wipes,
I didn't know
yes.
about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second question, why do you need the spray? Why can't you just use tap water?
You could, but the spray isn't actually going to have like tea tree oil in it or lavender in it that's going to be an antimicrobial, antibacteria. So you're actually cleaning them with some form of natural cleanser versus just water. you know, they could get stinky or something with just water. Because wipes do clean, I mean, disposable wipes, the chemicals on them do clean the baby. So you would want to use a spray to actually clean the baby, not just wipe the stuff off. It's going to kill the germs too.
And I know that's, like, at least in Texas, that's a part of licensing. It's an issue. Like, we had a child that was allergic to the wipes that we were using. So her parent actually went and got a doctor's excuse for us not to wipe her. And licensing came in and said, no, you all have to use something to wipe this child.
Other than water.
Other than water.
That's
Unsanitary.
That's in Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soap and water?
You could, but yeah, I mean, tea tree oil is one of the best as far as like being an antifungal, antimicrobial
Because
essential
I've
oil.
got a child in my classroom that is not allergic to wipes, but her dad runs, I'm gonna say those gauze pads and water, just to wipe her down.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, that's what he is, that's
Yep.
what he does. And
Sure.
so, and that's what I was wondering, could we use soap and water when she has a, you know, instead of that water on these little gauze pads?
I mean, anything's gonna be better than just water.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I would probably do like an antibacterial soap,
yeah.
but essential oils are gonna do a really good job and be less messy because they can be put on the skin, you know, directly. And soap, you know, then you gotta kind of get the soap off. So it might just be easier.
And you can make those yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You can put
Yeah.
tea tree oil and water.
Absolutely. Yep.
Just a
Sure.
technical question about the washing of the diapers.
Yeah.
Because you don't dump the poop off.
Right.
I know with totally breastfed babies, we just put those in the washer, that's fine. But once they're on commercial food and this kind of stuff, you normally dump personal diapers.
Right.
And do that, and they're all sent to the service with everything in them, right?
Yes.
Then, do they dump them, or do they just wash them with everything in it?
Both. So we dump what we can out, and then we wash them with everything that's on it.
Okay. But if there's solids and stuff, then you dump that out?
We do. We don't ask our daycares to deal with it.
Right.
And you know, again, it could depend on your service. Your service shouldn't, in my opinion, ask you to do that, but maybe they will. So, you know, that could be another thing that's going to
We
change.
just did it for, well, I did it at home.
Right.
When a service for a storage
Yeah.
factory. When you're keeping them
Yeah, and honestly, the
4 days to
smell.
a week.
Right. And with this daycare, I mean, your service is going to pick them up 2 to 3 times a week. So it's only a couple days, and you're putting them outside, most likely. And that's what we're going to, you know, with the operations thing. But like, so they're not going to be sitting for a week. And so they're not going to, you know, smell, they're not going to stain as bad. And honestly, with any diaper, it's really not the poop that's the smell issue, it's more the urine with the ammonia,
It's just
so.
someone we live in, you know, you live in the south and in the summer it's hot.
Yeah.
Sit
They
outside,
cook out there.
If you go a week, of course, at home I
Right.
would go a week after a while, you know, so
Right.
that's why. Yeah, I know it was the urine that smelled the worst of it, but it was,
Mhm.
okay, I just.
So here's kind of an example of operations of step-by-step, like, what would happen. And so here, and also we're gonna go over our diapers, like our recommendations. So pre-fills and covers, we recommend the Oh So Cozy Better Fits. And they make 3 sizes, like a newborn. So these would be for your new 6-weekers. This is kind of the standard size, and then they have a bigger one. Which a lot of kids, we barely use this size in our center because they can get potty trained. So they just don't really even need this. Maybe they'll use this for like nap time for some of the bigger kids. But really these are like the top 2 sizes of Oh So Cozies. And we use their Better Fit style, and what that means is when you fold them in thirds, they fit the length of your cover. So we recommend the Thirsties covers. They have snaps on the front, so they adjust. So what we recommend to centers is buy a color for each size that you would snap it. So let's say white are for the newborns, and they're snapped all the way down. And then green are for, you know, the next size that are snapped here. And then yellow are for the size that's always open, so that you know in John's cubby he needs yellow covers. In Susie's cubby she needs white covers. you know, just to kind of, for your staff to make it easier to just pop them in based on the size. So they make 2 sizes of covers. Most babies are going to stay in this one, the size 1, most of the time, because this goes up to 18 pounds. So you're looking at your first year of baby's life that they'll be in the same cover. And then after that, they would go up to the size 2. And then same thing, you could have different colors representing each snap setting so that you don't have to like adjust snaps every single time you get them. Because if they're all the same color, then you would have to like adjust the snap to fit that baby and remember which snap that baby was on. And so just to make it operationally easier to organize, you would just order different colors for each size that you need. So those are Thirsty's covers. And then there's tons of brands of all-in-ones. There's tons of, I wouldn't actually recommend a pocket style for a daycare because that would involve stuffing. The services aren't going to want to do that for you, and your staff's not going to want to sit there and stuff diapers. So just as a pure logistics issue, I would stick with either all-in-ones or pre-folds and covers. And then the center doesn't really need wet bags because you guys will have a pail with a Rumper's pail liner at every station, every changing station. So where you have your diaper pails now, you have just a different style of diaper pail. Wet bags would be something that like a parent might use in their diaper bag, but you guys aren't going to really need it. Even if they take them home, you can send them home in a pail liner. So they don't have to, and I'll just pull one. I brought one from our service. So same thing, this is the Rumper's pail liner. And at the end of the night, when you take them out and they're full of dirty diapers, you can just close them. And then we have bins, dirty bins outside that they put them in. So it's like instead of taking them out to the big dumpster, we have mini dumpsters, mini cloth dumpsters, that they keep them in, and then the delivery driver switches them out of those bins. And then they bring the clean diapers in the clean bags. So these are your delivery bag and dirty bag. And again, there's all sorts of brands of cloth wipes, and that's something, either if you're buying them all, you could work with the RDIA and work with which manufacturer you want to buy them from. You could get advice from retailers, which ones are their favorite, or you could, the diaper service could work with you if you have one to know which brand that you can buy. You can even do it as simple as getting terry cloth washcloths or something like that. They're just not going to hold up quite as long in commercial laundering as like actual made for diaper cloth wipes. So your delivery driver is going to arrive, whether it be from a commercial launderer or a diaper service. They're going to arrive at your center. They're going to drop off 2 to 3 days worth of clean diapers in the clean Rumper's pail liners, and then they're going to take all the dirty pail liners full of dirty diapers. Then what we, and I did put lady, it could be a man. You'll have a designated diaper lady or man at your service, or at your center, who I would put in charge of the diapers. It just, keep it simple, keep it the logistics simple. So they're in charge of taking the clean diapers and either distributing them to the rooms with the babies, or just they're in charge of stocking all the stations. So they go to each cubby and fill them with the clean diapers and the clean covers or whatever it might be. So during the day, here's the differences for your center. Your staff is going to change diapers as usual. The dirty goes into the pail lined with the waterproof pail liner. If the cloth wipes are used, they go in there as well. So everything dirty goes in together. With a professional cleaning service, there's no need to remove the solids, kind of like we talked about earlier. Everything goes in there. All diaper sizes and colors and everything can be mixed together, so you don't need to sort anything out either. And then at the end of the day, you take the pail liners full of dirties and put them in the designated bins. I put usually outside. Kind of depends on your center's layout. If you don't have a place outside that it would really work, or if you don't feel like they're safe out there and you want to keep them somewhere, they're not going to smell to where you have to worry about it stinking up your center. So you could keep them inside It's completely personal preference, and if you have the room outside, we do it outside because it's easier for my delivery driver. It really has nothing to do with like smell or space, because I mean, we come twice a week, so our biggest day, I think they have 8 bags, or yeah, about 8 bags full, plus the families that take them home and bring them in. So they might be picking up 10 to 14 bags, which, I mean, it's a little pile, but there's room. I mean, there's definitely room for it. And then
Animals on the tractor.
we haven't had that issue. Now, dogs are. That's the only, but we've only found that with personal customers. So, but at the center, they're in, we have huge like trash bins that they're in. So we've never had like a raccoon get in there or anything like that. So,
Well, we want you to go on the top of our big trash bins that are outside.
Oh.
Because, yeah, they will put all the.
and it could be, it probably depends on too what kind of like animals or rodents are in your area. It might like vary per location too. And then they would go ahead and go to the diaper changing stations and fill the liner, like put the clean liner in to start the day. And you should always have enough liners that like the day, like as soon as they're taken out, you could just put a clean one right back in. So you should have like double the liners. So what we're setting up through the RDIA is like a Change Your Diapers program. So we want to help you guys to make this change. There's no cost to do this. This is what we raise funds for, and this is what we try to accomplish, is to support the cloth diapering industry. So we want to connect you with the businesses that can provide you with the products or the services to make this happen. Forms for gathering information. That would be like, how many babies do you have in your center? What sizes are they? How much do they weigh? You know, things like that to kind of get a sense of, okay, then this is what you would need. Resources and forms to educate parents. So, you know, the real diaper facts, and is there a circle leader in your area who can come and do a class, and you know, things like that. Handouts for the parents. A letter that you pre-written for you that you could just adjust to send out to families, letting them know you're making the change. A setup consultation. So based on your unique situation, we would go through everything and figure out how to get you guys started. Recommendations for the best products to use. Dedicated, you would then have a dedicated consultant through the RDIA for ongoing questions. And then we're at $9.75 if you guys have more questions and want to learn more. Or if you just, you know, are curious about more things about cloth, you know, we're there to talk about that. And then there are also grant opportunities, and this is a whole other thing. This currently would be on you guys to figure out until the RDIA can, you know, come up with a committee and go out and find all these. But like personally in my state, we have a state waste reduction grant. So that's something that you could look for, is like a waste reduction grant, and apply for it. And these waste reduction grants are for businesses. So they're not, like most grants are for nonprofits. These would be for actual businesses who are reducing waste. We applied for it this year, and the only reason they didn't give it to us is because we didn't already have, we wanted to get 20 daycares onto our program, and because we didn't already have the 20 daycares like on our program, they said that they didn't, you know, they denied us to it. So if you're already a center who's already, you know, you already switch over, then it could be a way to, or you're saying, if you give me this money, I will switch over. You might have a better chance than a diaper service saying, okay, if you give me this money, I'm going to go out and get this business. So I don't think they had faith that that would happen. So if you go through your small business development center and tell them you're looking for grants to reduce, you know, that help you when you're reducing waste, they should be able to guide you to find one. If you were, they're going to need, what are those letters called? Do you remember? Letters of recommendation, kind of, for your proposal. So work with your diaper service that you're going to use, or work, you know, and have them write letters of recommendation. The RDIA would write letters for you. The RDA would write letters for you saying that yes, we support this and will help. And then, well, yeah, and then get supportive documents and statistics from both of our organizations. So, what other questions do you guys have? I know we covered a lot. It's a lot of information.
What's the life of the covers, getting them commercially laundered that way?
So, like I said, we've been with our pre-fold and cover center for 2.5 years, and they've never replaced them.
They have gone.
So, so far, 2.5 years.
Commercial drying, because
Yeah.
they recommend the air drying, but they say you can do them in the dryer, it's just
Right.
they won't last as long. So I don't
Right.
know.
And that's really an issue with elastic, as far as the drying goes. So, they wash them every day, and dry them every day, and they've lasted 2.5 years. So, and that's going to come with buying quality covers, versus like really cheap ones. That's going to matter, especially with that kind of laundry.
And if you were to switch a center over, and get a center to switch over, would you switch or have you switched over by starting with new children coming in?
Absolutely
or you
not.
switch everybody?
Everybody. So one of our centers tried that, and it was a operational disaster. I would not recommend that at all.
So you take
I say if you're going to do it,
18-month-old and just say, okay, we're wearing cloth diapers.
yep, do it all or none. Because then you think about it, then you have two pails at each center, and then you have to know which kid is in cloth and which kid is in disposables, and it's just a nightmare. So I would say all or none.
I mean, we have a small group, but some of the parents, we keep our children 3 years. So some of the people, when they come into the center, they came in under, obviously, we do policy changes.
Yeah,
But they came in with the idea that they were doing one thing, and then,
yeah.
it's getting the parent on board, not the child.
It is the parent. When we switched our pre-fold and cover center, she sent out a letter, and then we had a class to go over why. Like I came and explained all of this too, just the cloth diapers and their benefits and everything, not how we were going to work it with the center, but just all the benefits and why they should be on board with it. To me, I don't understand why a parent would be against it, but every parent has their decision. So we had, with that center, there were 2 families who were very anti the idea of switching. And she had about 30 families in diapers. So she let those 2 families not use them at first. Yeah, and one was part-time, so she's like, they're part-time anyways, I'm just gonna, and then the other one, I think that they just aged out of it, because it's been a while, and their daughter was older anyways, so.
I know you presented the facts that you presented them, but some of the parents have that mindset that they do get more rashes.
In cloth?
Yeah, and that it's not good to stay wet, that they feel wet. There's some parents that have those misconceptions that it's kind of hard to educate by just saying, no, that's not the case when they have not experienced it.
Right. And that comes with showing research, and that's what we can help you with, is giving you the studies that show that's not true. But, you're still going to have parents that, they start in cloth, and they happen to at the same time get a diaper rash. And then they're like, it's the diapers.
Yeah.
So then you do have to kind of work with that and be like, it's not the diapers, The RDA has proof showing that yeast is kind of the biggest concern parents have. Yeast cannot grow or survive in cloth diapers. So you can show them that research. It shows, it's not, if your baby gets a yeast infection, it's systemic. Are they on antibiotics? Are they, did they just change their diet? A lot of times an round of antibiotics will cause a yeast infection. So, those sort of things. So, there is that challenge with, when we converted, we just found that a few parents would be like, oh, they have a rash, it's the diapers. And it really came down to the director or owner saying, no, it isn't. And standing behind it. If the director's gonna be like, oh, maybe it is, and then they get, nervous, and then they don't have confidence in it, then that's gonna create a problem, create a challenge. So, I I would say that is the biggest challenge with switching over, is just parents who aren't educated about it and getting them to understand. Like, we even had in one of our centers, a month after that we had switched to cloth, a baby got a diaper rash. And they were like, it's the diapers. They've been in them for a month. Like, that doesn't even make sense, you know. So, and they're professionally laundered, and, you know. So, and that's the other thing too, you know, having them professionally laundered, you could even ask your service for their lab results, you know, to show that they're tested and clean. If you want to get really, like, you know, technical about it. So, because they should be sending them in for testing with bacteria and pH and everything. So, yeah.
Well, we have a very academic clientele, so they're into research. They would like that.
One thing too that I will point out, the centers that this is going to work best with, and I'm not going to say it's not going to work with all, are centers who do have a high, like a middle to upper middle class family grouping. And it just goes along with education. So the more educated of a clientele that you have, the better received this is going to be. And we've just found that over and over and over again. So just something to keep in mind. Like, it's kind of contradictory to what you would assume, but the reality is that
saves money, you think.
Right, but the more educated that parents are in their life, like the more educated they're willing to become on new ideas and new concepts. So we just found that the more educated parents in those centers are going to be more receptive to it. Yeah, so they'd be all about it.
I think they would. I think they would, you know, because a lot of them use cloth diapers.
Already.
Where are you all located?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. And I wouldn't say we're overly natural there. I mean, you know.
Chapel Hill, so we've got 2 universities.
Oh, yeah.
15 miles of each other and 2 major hospitals right there, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of our people, so.
Definitely. My residential diaper service customers are actually a lot of professors. It's funny, it's kind of like a joke, like, oh, you're a professor? Yeah, of course you are. Like, this is,
A lot
so,
of the wool cover was that way, it's just they only gave us one wool cover.
yeah.
They're also very frugal, so they only have this one wool cover, so.
And I can go into depth more too about like pricing and how the billing works and that sort of thing if you guys are curious. I can just not like give exact, you want to know a little more about that? So I can give you like numbers as far as what we do, but every, like I said, every company you work with could be different. Another part of it is, as a center, you could choose to do completely different pricing. When we talked to them on a story about it, they were going to charge like $12.50 to $15 a week to the families versus our one that charges $4. So, I mean, really, that's a personal choice, and that's why we say it can be a huge income potential because it depends on what your families are already paying, what you're willing to charge them. So, our bill for pre-bills and covers to the center ends up being about $2.50 per kid per week. So, you could take that and you could charge $10 a week if you wanted to. I mean, it's really up to you and what you think is fair to your parents and fair to your center. Maybe you want it to set you apart even more, and so you do charge $15 a week for the diapers. Another idea is if you do have to use a commercial launderer or not a diaper service, and they will not provide the diapers for you, and you have to buy them up front, and you don't want to invest that couple $1,000s up front, whatever it might be, you could either be current families or new families only. They get charged a one-time diaper setup fee. It's $100 or $150 or to charge them their one-time diaper fee. And then you can use those funds to purchase your big stash for your center. And another thing is, and so you're going to get that every time a new family starts, you would get that income coming in as well. And that would help you with replacement costs as well. So if you did have to purchase them, and I mean, like I said, they've never, in 2.5 years, they haven't had to replace covers. But, say they're just getting really stained, or some of the diapers are getting torn or something like that, and you needed to replace them, you know, you have the funds to do that. So, and that's aside from the normal income that you'd be generating on a weekly basis. So our center generates, you know, $1.50 a week from each kid in their center. Our other one, I think their charge is, because we provide all-in-ones, we charge more. So I think our bill is maybe, I can't even remember, now I don't do the billing anymore, so I think it's like $5 a week, and they're only charging like $7 a week. Again, they're only upcharging it a couple dollars. So, but with all-in-ones, I mean, you could easily charge the $10 to $15 a week for that. So, for any diapers, really, it shouldn't really matter. Pre-folds and covers are going to be cheaper for setup. They're going to be easier to launder for the services, for the commercial launderers. Price-wise for a commercial launderer, they charge by weight. So you're going to be looking at like anywhere from 75 cents to $1, maybe a pound of like clean, dry weight. And just to give you an idea, all-in-ones weigh about 3 ounces clean and dry. So you could like do the math on that, like how many diapers, if you have, you know, you're changing 5 diapers a day per baby times 25 babies, you know, and divide that by 3 ounces or whatever, we can do the math for you.
The diapers per child is about 5 diapers a day, 3 ounces, that's 15 ounces, so it's like a pound.
5 diapers is about a pound. So per day, yes, if they charge 75 cents a pound, you're looking at 75 cents a day per cost. Per child. So, I mean, you can kind of get a sense without even getting set up of what your numbers would be. That's something too, we have a whole spreadsheet that all you have to do is type in how many kids you have in diapers, and then it'll calculate for our service based on our prices how much it would cost. We could put in how much you would charge, so how much your year 1 profit would be, year 2, year 3, and based on like new families coming in and you charging them a $100 diaper fee, and we can change that number. So we can put in your numbers what you would want to do and see where you would be.
I still have about half of the diapers that I used with my children early ages.
Yeah.
That I still use because they're wonderful rags.
Yes.
And they're still here, they still work. The diapers last a long time.
Yeah.
Does the American Academy of Pediatrics have a statement about cloth diapers at all, do you know?
I don't know if they do or not, honestly. They must not, because I feel like if they did, I would know it. But they might. I didn't look into that. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. It's kind of one of those things too. How many of you have ran into amber teething necklaces at your center? It's one of those like, you know, parents want it. Sometimes certificate or regulations don't allow necklaces, even if they're CPSI compliant. So just another change that's happening in our world. So, you know, embracing it versus fighting it. And honestly, in 8.5 years, you know, we used to have to like grab parents into us and beg them to listen to us about cloth diapering and swear they're different. And it was just, you know, fighting tooth and nail to get education out there. And now, if we go to an expo, parents swarm our booth and say, I want to know about cloth, I want to learn. I mean, the trend is definitely on the upturn. It's a huge, it's getting out there, like all of us grassroots companies have spread the word enough. And now they're getting out there. There's even some diapers in some cloth diapers in big box stores. So it's getting more and more mainstream. So like grabbing onto it and profiting from it before every center in the country in 10 years is doing it already that way, then, you know, it's just something to consider. And it really is like it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win situation. So yeah, like there's going to be, it's something new, it's a change. So there's going to be, okay, we got to figure this, this, and this out. But we're here to help you guys figure it out so that you can make the change. So, But if you guys want to come up and see anything, and if you want to grab one of these stickers too, you can either grab one here or at our booth for your window if you accept cloth, and you can come up and play with the diapers and see everything. So feel free. Yeah. Thanks for coming today. Appreciate it.
It's a very interesting story about how much faster that child grew and got better.
So that one is out of our diaper service, so you can see like the slight seaming to it, and it's been in our service. That one's been in our service for probably 2 years. So I mean, they hold up well. That one is called a magic.
Oh, that's okay.
We don't use that for our daycare. Yeah. We don't use that for our daycare, we use that for our residential facilities. We want all in one. We could use it for our daycare.
It's just really hard.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of observation. If they're reacting.
Probably so, because it's supposed to be done residential.
Yeah.
And I think, right, so the regulation would only hold us to that 12.
No, because it depends on styles. So like, I mean, like at our store, we have little bundles. So we have like a pre-fill cover newborn bundle. It's like $150. They get 30 pre-fills, 10 covers, and that's gonna get them set up with when they need a diaper and go 2.5 weeks cover with laundry. So I mean, it depends on stores and like what they put together. And that is like a discount of buying all that stuff.
So this is not, I'm trying to remember, there's somebody that's on at Champlain College also. There's a master's program.
Oh, and
I was just gonna say, is this the school that Megan is at? Yeah, and she's in your top. Yeah, I just met her yesterday. Oh, yeah, I'll see her.
if you go to either RDA's or RDIA's website,
I know, I haven't actually seen her.
or you can do
Yeah.
Google like find
I
a
just
diaper
said,
service,
like,
you can find one of our websites.
Yeah,
And there's like a diaper service.
She's like, I didn't actually see that
you
either.
any other
Yeah,
service.
yeah, but we do, we all have lunch together.
There might not be one.
Thank you.
Like, are you close to
The hardest part really is just been keeping up with homework while we're
Yeah.
all here. It's just like kind of crazy.
like
We'll be there.
So which workshop are you going to next?
I haven't started. I'm gonna go think about it. I've been to a lot.
Yeah, good.
I've been here since Wednesday morning, so. And I head back tonight.
So you started this school all by yourself?
Yes. So one child. I have 60.
That's so awesome. Oh, good for you. And it goes up till age 6, is that right?
She literally
Oh, good for you. Well, so nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you as well. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you too.
Birds that I literally broke my ear. Like, I could not believe her skin was huge. She was a baby and it was like burnt and it was healing and you have burnt skin and the cancer. That's what it looked like. And then took and there's